Hey guys, thanks for coming back to the channel and clicking that thumbnail. The picture of the bench got you, right? This picture right here. And you were like, sure, let's see how he builds this bench out of a bunch of pallet wood. Let's do it. So the new dust collection system works great. Don't be jealous. All right, guys, we're going to build this bench. We're going to start with these legs right here. Here is kind of the inspiration for this bench. These, well, I don't know, they are runners or something, come on pallets that I break down, and I have quite a bit of them, and they're just kind of big, chunky wood. So, you just saw us mill these legs down to 3 by 3. They're 3 inches square. We're going to put a 10-degree cut on the top and the bottom so the legs kind of sit on an angle. And then I have these big, huge, I believe these are oak. We'll have to see when we sand it down. I believe these are oak. We're going to make the top out of it. And these are wicked heavy and solid. So let's go get to it. Start cutting these legs up. So you saw me adjust my miter saw to 10 degrees, and you really even couldn't see the mark on a little piece of plastic. So I kind of just, did my best. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this speed square right here to mark a 10-degree line and kind of check the miter saw. So probably most of you know this. This right here, these are degrees, for like doing roof pitches and stuff. So here's the pivot. I'm going to pivot my square until it reads 10 over here. I don't know if you can see it because it's all yellow and stuff. But this right here is the 10-degree line. So here's my speed square lined up to the edge. Actually, I want to make it a little better. Line up my 10 degrees. Now that means this angle right here is 10 degrees. So all I'm going to do is just going to go and check it against the miter saw. And overall that looks pretty spot on. It sits right around the same angle as that line right there. All right, you saw me grab these big boards I had, hang up or lean up against the wall over there. I think these are cherry, which would be pretty awesome. So I think these are cherry, and you can see, man, they're twisted up. So it's going to take a good amount of woodworking magic to make them a nice bench top. So I think first thing we're going to do, I want the bench to be like 48 inches long. So I guess what we'll do is we'll just cut them right in half. So what is it? 96 and 6, 102. So 51 and 51. This, look at that, huh? Look at that. And then that, look at that. How about one of those? Okay, now listen. It's not perfect. It is 2 3/4 on that side, 2 3/4 on that side. It is 2 inches there, and like 2 inches and a 32nd. This side, remember 2 3/4, 2 3/4, 2 3/4, 2 inches, and then about 1/32 shy of 2 inches. So that means this side right here, this side, can you see that? This side has about a 32nd lean on it. But man, from what they started with, I mean, come on. All right, guys, let me catch you up. Off camera, I finished up milling these 4 boards here, straightened them out as best I could, and then sanded them down so I have a little better surface to work with. So you see me messing with these boards, and what I'm realizing is the more I scrutinize them, the more I'm starting to realize that the edges that I'm going to use for the glue up, they're just not right. So I think the solution is going to be that I'm going to have to take off the edge that has the slant to it using my straightening jig. All right, so after milling up those big boards, it turns out that the grand total, the width of all 4 boards put together isn't going to be wide enough for the bench. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mill them down to about 2 3/8 a piece, so they're all the same size, because before they weren't. I was just going to try to get the seat done. But since I had to mill them to try to get them as close as possible for good glue up and a surfacing, it's going to be short. So we're going to put an inlay. And in that inlay, what I'm going to do is I have some other maple, like some maple kind of molding. I'm going to recycle and make inlays. And I think it will kind of wind up looking cool. Once it's stained, it'll kind of be 2 different woods, maybe two different kind of shades of stain. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to take the boards now that I have. You saw me just use them to get up one good square side and all, just shaving off a little bit. Now I'm just going to cut them all down to 2 3/8. So all the boards that we initially milled up, you know, from those banged up ones, are going to wind up being about 2 3/8 wide and about, 2 inches thick, whatever they are. And then we're going to put another maple inlay in there. And I think it'll wind up looking all right. But they just have to be the same size so they're uniform. Okay, for the sake of saving time on this video, where we're at right now is I went ahead and cut those boards down to 2 3/8 like I just said. And then I took those pieces of molding that I had, which are kind of like white maple, or they're definitely lighter in color. And I went ahead and milled them to the same thickness as the boards. Now what's going to happen is I'm going to go ahead and glue all the boards together, like a typical glue up. And then I'm going to clamp it real tight, let it dry overnight. So let's go ahead and get this going warp speed. Hey, listen, the router sled, right? You see me do it 100 times already, I think. So, why don't we just go ahead and get to the part where I'm sanding and when it's all done. This is going to take a while. You know how this goes. We're going to make it nice and flat and look real good. So, go to the next part of the video. turned out nice. That's on the belt center's 80 grit, just trying to get all the burn marks off. We're going to flip it over, do it on the other side too, but man, that's going to look nice. Alright, so the whole sanding thing is done on the top. I actually sanded it all the way up to 220, but somewhere along the line that video footage got lost. I don't know what happened. So with the top all sanded and finished now, I know what the final thickness is of the bench top, you know, like the seat part. So then now I can go and measure the legs so that the overall bench is going to end up at 17 inches. So here I'm going to use a double-sided tape and set up a stop block on my chop saw. This way all 4 legs get cut exactly the same length. Alright guys, that's the idea so far. What do you think? I think that looks pretty good. You know what? I think this spacing is right. Even like it kind of hanging over. What is that? Like 8 inches or so. All right, so here's kind of the setup. The bench right now is upside down. I'm trying to figure out where to put these legs, and I mean I don't know. I don't know if there's a special measurement or what, like to make it look right. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to measure arbitrarily like 4 inches from the end. I'm going to mark the 4 inches. And scribe a line. And then these legs, I don't think I want them all the way to the edge. No, I don't think I like that. I'm going to scoot them in about 1 inch from the edge. Yeah, I think that's going to look right. All right, so here's the edge of those kind of strings are going to be on the legs. I measure 1 inch in. That's where I want the legs to start. So obviously it's kind of laying down right now, right? So we're going to make a cross member. We'll just make it just about that wide. That's fine. So the long side should be about 6.5. Look at that. All right, now the trick is we're gonna have to make another one exactly this size. All right, let's try to keep this 100% authentic. I left the chop saw at the angle that we've been cutting everything on. I haven't moved it. I'm gonna lock it in place. I'm gonna stick our successful piece right there. Then let's take this guy. I bet you we can just clamp it right there and then we're going to be golden. Can you see those? Okay, those came out perfect. Can you see them? Those guys came out perfect. So let's go ahead and fit them up on both legs. So there we go. 2 A-frame legs. Exactly where they're supposed to be. So see how, just as long as the measurement's the same, we have the same cross member, make the same A, then the legs will be the same on both sides. Perfect. Moving on. What I'm going to do in this little montage right here is I'm going to find the center of those boards on each leg, and then I'm going to find the center in the cross member, and then I'm just going to glue and screw it all together, you know, like once I line up the center marks. Hey guys, let me catch you up. Here is the cross member for this bench. You can see me futzing around with it right here. I didn't record it. All I did was mill up a 2x4 to be the right width and the right length so it sits in here nice. We're going to glue it in place, and then when the glue dries, we're going to put a couple of screws in there. That's it. I didn't feel a need to record it and kind of make the video longer than it has to be. So I'm going to grab a pipe clamp, let's get some glue, put it in place, let it dry. So here's why I say don't do that. First, I stained the whole thing with the classic black stain. It looked terrible. And then I tried to spray paint it, and it turned out it was like some kind of satin paint, not flat. It looked terrible. So I sanded the whole thing down, and I'm using this Behr super scuff resistant flat black primer paint, whatever. It's working great. This is the exact finish I wanted. Oh yeah, that's going to look good. Hey guys, thanks for watching to the end. I really appreciate it. Listen, before we close this out, I want to say thank you to all our new subscribers. We're up to like 575 already. That's amazing. So listen, we finished the bench. We got it all set up. I took some pictures. I'm going to put it up on Facebook, see if we can sell it. I'll let you know in the next couple of videos whether or not it sells or not. And next couple of videos, the next one, I'm going to work on some shop organization. But listen, I'm going to put like 3 of them together because nobody wants to watch me build like a shelf or nothing. That's dumb. So we're going to put a new top. I'm going to put some drawers. I'm going to make a tool display charging station. We'll do it all real quick. It'll be nice. So I'll let you know when it comes up. But listen, before we go, I want to say I appreciate you. I want you to tell everybody you know. Send an email, send a text, a chat, I don't know, an Instagram. I don't know what's going on out there, but let everybody you know about this channel. This way we get this YouTube channel rolling. Out. Thanks, guys.